Howdy, Possum Patty and the Soggy Bottom Bunch here. I should just chain myself to this table and get this journal done. I know I haven't been in here all day, but that may be a good thing because when I did come in finally, when I got around to it, yes, um, yeah, a whole new idea popped up into my head, right? A whole new idea. And I'm starting to love it, right? I'm starting to love it. Well, first thing I did when I sat down, I started pulling out a few things. I really wasn't sure what I was doing. Oh, I was looking for something small enough to fit in the little pocket, um, the fabric page in the journal, on my, let me move this, October, November Chunky Monster Journal. And I went through the package of things that Mary sent me from Utah, and I found this little card that she gave me, and in it was a note about how her cousin wrote the book, Butterfly Children. And her cousin gave her a copy as a child 50 years ago, and she found this copy in a thrift store, and she sent it to me. I was like, oh, I love it. I love the book. So I put a little tiny picture of the book on here, and I just wrote Butterfly Children from Mary in Utah. And it fits perfectly in this little pocket over here. Look at that. Okay, now I was going to put these pumpkins, I must have said this 50 times, right? I want to put the pumpkins here. I want to put the pumpkins here. I want to put the pumpkins here. But you know what? If I really, really wanted the pumpkins there, they'd be there. But they're not. But they're not. So I was like, And I started going through the drawers in that chest back there, that brown thing back there. That's where I got some sewing things. And I came across this scrap of material, which I was doing some slow stitching on. And as you can see, stopped in the middle of working on it. And it was in this baggie. Where's the baggie? Oh, here's the baggie. It was in this baggie with some thread and needles and, oh, I don't know what else is in here. Oh, there's another one in here. Forget me nots. That was my flower for this year. This should have gone into something. But I forgot all about this. So, well, you know how that goes. Forget me not. Oh, well. That'll have to go in something at some point. Well, anyway, so I got all this stuff out. And I came over, and I put it against this plaid fabric. And I'm like, I want a little border. So I went to my tub of fabric down there on the floor. And I pulled out some butterfly fabric. I know this is getting more complicated by the minute. Possum Patty, why don't you just glue down the pumpkin and move on? Get that thing finished. Not going to happen. And there was this really pretty purple and pink and yellow, but I was thinking blue and yellow to go with this butterfly. And I found this. So I'm thinking that since I put the little card in the pocket, yes, about the Butterfly Children book, that I would finish this up by adding these blue and yellow butterflies, like a little frame, and then putting this in the center. This has some cotton batting on the back, and I'm not going to do too much more stitching. I think at one point I was going to stitch around that whole butterfly. Well, maybe I'll put a couple of stitches there. This might take 2 days. This might take 2 days. Oh, well, let's see. I'll get it started. I have an idea. I love it. I'll get it started. Oh, and the other thing that popped into my mind was there's a picture of these two little buttons right there, a red button and white button. And I was like, ooh, maybe I'll add a little bit more stitching. Maybe I'll put 2 buttons there. And then I'll get the whole thing stitched in the journal like that. I know you can't see it. I know you can't see it. Let's see. Can I get it up? I just might have to bring you in closer. So, oop, oop, oop. See, ta-da! I love that. I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, I got a plan. I'm all excited now. These pumpkins that have been floating around for a couple of years ain't still floating. But I think this I made before I made those pumpkins. So yes, let's rescue this little piece of fabric with some stitching on it and the word dream and put it there. Oh, I'm looking forward to doing this. Okay, come on along. Okay, now you can see how it's going to look. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Couple extra layers to add to this monster journal, right? What's the biggest journal you have? I'm going to weigh this. It's not going to be bigger than my Monster Christmas in July book, but for a 2-signature book, I think it's quite chunky. Anyway, let's see. Yes, so you can see the card is in here. And the best thing about this is I'm going to do almost all the work outside the journal. And then at the end, I'm just going to stitch around there like that. After I stitch this to there and put on a couple buttons. Oh, and you know what? Mary also gave me little butterfly charms that I could add to that. I could add these to the page, or maybe I can dangle them. Oh, that would be fun, right? Having some dangle butterflies on there. Don't forget those. Remind me about those. Okay. So I'm going to take this out and I can put aside the chunky monkey. All right. So apparently I stopped years ago. Oh, you know what? Oh, I think I was working on this while I was doing elder care for mom for a couple of days. Oh, so this is several years ago. And I'm looking to see how I was doing these letters. I think I'm just back stitching with many, many threads of this sparkly purple. Let's see if I can straighten this out. What I found interesting about finding things in this bag is I guess I put all the colors I was working on this ring. And then I brought some needles on this little piece of batting. And then what was this? These were some little scraps, I think. I'm not sure why that's there with a clip on it, but oh, morning dove o'clock already. Oh, and a needle threader. And that's it. Yeah. So I must have packed that in this baggie before I had my little my little totes that I use for sewing when I go in the car. So this is a really old project, and ta-da, I'm getting around to it. Finishing it up. All right, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Let's just do something. What should I do to the butterfly? What should I do to the butterfly? Putting a little back stitch on this hem. Oh, this is another one of those long needles. Ooh. Oh, I'm glad I found this. I only have one in my sew to go bag. I think I'm trying to sew here with all 6 strands of thread. But I got to finish it up how I started it. Oh, I know, because the letters are so thick. Let's see, maybe I did 2 rows. Let's see. Oh, you know what? While I work on this, finishing this up, doing some slow stitching for a little while, why don't I read this book, Butterfly Children? And again, Mary in Utah sent this to me, and her cousin wrote and illustrated it. Yes. So I'm going to read you that book while I sew, because this is video magic. Butterfly Children by Adele Reese Palmer. Preface. Scientific facts of the butterfly's life have been woven into a fairy tale of mythical charm. However, this story is limited to its visible everyday life with no reference to the fascinating reproduction cycle. Through fantasy and animation, an attempt has been made to stir the child's imagination by comparing the carefree life of the butterfly, in which the elements of nature play an all important part, to the common everyday experiences of childhood, their duties to home, friends, and family, the loving parents who provide for them, their spiritual training, their health habits, playtime, and rest, their mealtime with nourishing food. In this way, the butterfly has been characterized as a child. The author's purpose is to make the small child more aware of the butterflies he sees. Within these pages, he will recognize many species and become more familiar with others. Throughout the book, each butterfly is portrayed in authentic color, male and female being represented as boy and girl. Unlike birds, those with more vivid coloring are usually females. The male butterfly has a scent by which he attracts his mate. In the insect kingdom, the Lepidoptera, known as the butterflies, received their name from two Greek words meaning scaled and wing. The scaly wing structure is a miracle of nature's beauty. These scale-like hairs which cover wings and body are flattened, giving strength as well as ornamentation. These scales also give the delicate, exquisite coloring overlapping like tiles or shingles on a roof. Although the lifespan of most butterflies is very short, many are known to live long enough to migrate. The migration in this story is compared to autumn's birthday party at which many butterfly cousins have gathered, especially rare species showing the child gorgeous varieties. Over 250 species are impelled to travel far by the migration instinct. Few survive the winter months, but some have lived as long as 10 months, while others rarely live longer than an hour. Presumably, the offspring of migrating butterflies return to the land from which their parents came. Forward, a fantasy depicting the everyday life, migration, and death of the beautiful butterfly, which every child follows into a world of his own. Pictured in fairy form, it appeals to the minds of children and to those of us whose minds linger still in the land of our childhood. Story verse and illustrations by Adele Reese Palmer. Come, my children, follow me. Let's wander far away, off to magic, and pretend a little while to stay. Stretch your arms and drift with me. I'll whisper things unknown of butterfly children you haven't seen as through the fields they roam. Close your eyes, both blue and brown, to sail across the mist. Meet we folk of fantasy by breezes gently kissed. Let them freely fly their way while echoes softly sigh. Do not catch them in your hands, or they will cry and die. In and out among the flowers these fairies gaily play. Pause a moment, nod hello, and kiss the petals gay. Butterfly children in parade are floating on the breeze, inhaling dew fresh air. They learn to say thank you and please. Through clover's bright pink blossoms and sweet perfume they flutter. Out of yellow buttercups they gather creamy butter. Queen of Fairies helps them make some golden honey bars. From her silver dew-washed cup they fill wee perfume jars. Breakfast is their biggest meal, a fluffy pollen omelet, sipping dew with built-in straws from a honeysuckle goblet. Noon, a nip of green leaf flower which sips from milkweed pod. Evening comes, their dainty dish is bread of goldenrod. Butterfly children gaily bathe in silver raindrop spray, scrubbing face and neck and ears beneath the rainbow's ray, lying on warm bark to dry with satin wings spread out, yawning, drowsy in the sun while fanning wings about. Suddenly they're playing tag. They bounce on mossy rocks. Their twinkling laughter on the breeze the little streamlet mocks. Bachelor buttons whistle clear, their faces all aglow. They hear secrets from the wind that butterflies should know. High up in the clouds they go, then down to leafy beds, napping in the shadow lace these little sleepy heads. Shh, be sure to tiptoe. Hush, perhaps you can come near. See them now? If they wake, they'll fly away, my dear. Giggling, gay to flowers, they flit and drink the gold sunshine, swinging merrily around while clinging to a vine. Looking down on meadow world, they're glad they are above it, bumping heads upon the clouds, because you see, they love it. Down where willow rushes grow and lazy streams are blue, they are molding mud pie cakes the same as each of you, lined up in the sun to dry each sticky muddy treat. Time is short, they cannot wait. 'Tis time, they say, to eat. Hovering over lilac blooms on fragile scale damp wing, purple evening hums her song while they keep tune with spring. North wind tells them stories, south wind caresses them, west wind comes to press their suits, and east wind blesses them. Floating down when shadows fall, they find a bed with care. Clinging to rosy blankets, they bow, wee heads to say their prayer. Thank you, God, for blessing us with night and morning light, dew and sun and friends to love, and freedom in our flight. Mother Nature tucks them in when Sandman fills their eyes. While she rocks their flower bed, she sings them lullabies. Day is done, it's time for sleep. Under covering soft moonbeams, they fold velvet wings and drift away on clouds of dreams. Autumn spell brings birthday time. They flutter to the call. Elfin girls brush golden curls in mirrored waterfall. Music notes are invitations, the flower trumpet toots. Elfish boys hide in the trees to polish birthday suits. Gathered for a festival beneath the rainbow bright, butterflies dance gracefully on paths of moonbeam light. Flying into rainbow's room, each gives his drop of gold. Autumn then will paint the world from all the pot can hold. Silver cobweb thread was spun to make their carpet plush. Sparkling fireflies dangled lights from briar, bell, and bush. Dancing, singing, merry guests without a spoon or plate, large and small and cousins all have joined to celebrate. Blowing bubbles light and gay, they only catch a few. Pop they go, they're clapping hands while playing peekaboo. Drop the flower, spin the leaf, then hide the stem puff. Hop the vine, all games like yours, and also butterfly buff. Best of any party time is ice cream, cake, and punch. Each one spreads a tissue napkin for honey treats and lunch. Dainty flower petal cups will serve sweet scented drink, while they're nibbling pollen cakes with sherbet nectar pink. Westward sinks the red sunlight, then the tired butterflies curl their velvet wings to rest with soft, contented sighs. Ending celebration day, with sleepy eyes they nod. Pillowed starshine weaves their dreams, and slumbering drift to God. Well, I didn't get very far, no. I did finish the M, and I put French knots all around the edge of the butterfly. And now I'm thinking, yeah, I'm looking at this little ring of threads. See this dark green? I think my original plan was to add some dark green to the fern and some orange stitches, maybe to the orange on the butterfly. And then I have a light blue and a dark blue. Maybe I'll just put a couple of light blue stitches around and then make some dark blue on the body. Yeah, that's going to take me a while. And then I'll find some buttons and I'm going to make a dangle with these little butterflies. Yeah. Well, yes, I think what I'm going to do is challenge myself to get this done sometime during the day tomorrow. Yes. Make sure I get around to it during the day so that when I come in here tomorrow evening, the slow stitching will be done, which means that page in the journal will be done. And then it is on to the very last spread. Yay! 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 Oh, now I'm getting excited. Oh, wish me luck. Yes, because it's getting late. Yeah, it's getting late already. And yes, so I'm excited now. Yes. I'm sorry I didn't get this all done for you, but I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you enjoyed the story that Mary's cousin wrote and illustrated. Aren't those little babies adorable? I love them. I love them. Yes. So, yeah, I started piling things here. I've got another mess going, but that's okay. The important thing is we're going to finish up the journal tomorrow evening, and I'm going to finish this up during the day. And y'all better come back now, you hear. Yes, it's getting very exciting. Happy junk journaling. Bye bye.
Y'all come back sometime, you hear? Y'all come back. Minnie Pearl, yeah.